Yesterday, this thought occurred to me. Man suffers a great deal with guilt. Why does he feel this guilt? What is the source of this guilt? Who inspired this guilt? Isn't it God? Isn't God the one who inspired this guilt in man? Who made this guilt possible? God's rules are so antithetic to man's essential nature. Man is essentially a rebel. Man is born in rebellion against God. And all his life, man finds it difficult to live according to the rules of God, and his suffering comes from guilt. Human suffering is born out of guilt. This terrible guilt of not being the sort of people God would want us to be, of not living according to God's rules. Isn't God really responsible for man's sufferings? I thought yesterday. Well, if God is responsible, man is not responsible. If God is responsible for man's fallenness, then man is not responsible. Man can be exonerated. Man is free from blame. Man may not be blamed for the way he conducts himself. Is this really a justifiable position? That's what I thought. It does seem that God did not create man perfectly. It does seem that God came up with rules that are contrary to man's nature. All this seems wrong. It seems like God made a huge mistake. But did God make a mistake? Is man really not to blame? Man is the creation of God. The Bible admits that. God is the creator, man is the creation. Man is also a flawed creation. The Bible admits that as well. There is a flaw in human nature. What is his human nature? And what is his flaw? It is said that man is made in the image of God. But if one were to look at a human being, one may not see much of God in that person. Sometimes one may not see anything that is similar to God in a certain person. Yet it is said that man is made in the image of God. Why do we have a problem with being like God? Why do we have a problem with being like God? Why do we have a problem with that? Shouldn't it come naturally? Shouldn't this be easy for us? Why is it difficult? Why is being like God so difficult? Why is following God so difficult? Though man is made in the image of God, he has forgotten that image. He has lost sight of his original image. That's the only way one can put it. Man has forgotten how he used to look. When God created man, he looked very different from how he looks today. How we human beings look today is very different from how we used to look before we fell. And we fell. Man fell from a certain lofty place. When God created man, he created him to exist at a certain level. And man fell from that level. Man disobeyed God. Man did not just disobey God, he wanted to make his own rules. He wanted to live according to his own rules. Above all, he wanted to be like God. That is the temptation. That was the temptation at Eden. It was not a temptation to eat a certain fruit. It was the temptation to be like God. The temptation to achieve a godly status, to be equal to God. That's what led man to his fall. Man forgot his place. He forgot the fact that he was a creation, and he wanted to be like the Creator. Is man not responsible for his fall? Can man say, "Look, I have been created imperfectly, that's why I fell"? The person who programmed me did not do a good job. That's why there was an error. Can man say that? I don't think he can. God presented a certain scenario. He gave man the entire world. In fact, the entire Garden of Eden. Man was free to eat from every tree in the Garden of Eden except one tree. God said that man should not eat from that tree. Man was given the freedom to do anything he wanted except eat from that tree. And it was that tree, it was the fruit of that tree that man desired above everything else. He chose to disobey God. He chose to give up all the privileges that he had for the fruit of that tree. This is a conscious decision that man made, and he cannot say that he wasn't able to say no. Man cannot say that he was unable to say no. He could have said no, but he actually said yes. And that's the way of all flesh. That's the way of all human beings. Even now, human beings do what God had told them not to do. Even now, human beings say yes when they ought to say no. The point of this discussion is this: is God responsible for man's fallenness, or is man responsible for his own fallenness? The Bible clearly presents man as the guilty one. It is man who is guilty. It is man who is responsible for his fallenness. Man was given a certain privilege. He was given free will. He was given the will to choose between good and bad. And he chose bad. And that's what all human beings continue to do, even today. And we often choose evil. Not that we are powerless to choose good, but because we prefer evil. We choose evil because we prefer evil. Evil appeals to us more than good. At least to people who have not seen the light of God. Before I saw the light of God, evil appeals to me more. And even after seeing the light of God, evil has not lost its original attractiveness. Even now, evil appears very attractive. But what has changed is this: now that I know the light of God, I know the greatness of that light. I know how lasting and complete the joy of knowing God is. The joy that God gives is lasting. The joy that God gives is truly satisfying. But the joy that the world promises, the joy that comes from selfish desires, is neither permanent nor satisfactory. The Bible clearly states that man is guilty. And I believe that man is guilty because man has the power to say no to evil, and yet he says yes. He chooses to do evil. Every time man does evil, he has chosen to do it. And it is he who is responsible for his actions. God did not create man to behave in a robotic manner. God did not make us to be robots. He did not want us to obey His rules without a certain understanding and acceptance. He wanted us to understand and accept His goodness. That is the power that He gave man, the power to analyze, the power to judge, the power to know. And all human beings have that power. Adam had that power, but he chose to do what is evil. And that tendency has stayed with all of us, and we are His children. The tendency to choose evil has stayed with us. It was our father Adam who chose evil first. And when he chose evil, he knew it was evil. He knew it was not what God wanted him to do, and yet he did it. He did it knowingly, so he is responsible for his actions. He cannot say, I was too weak. God made me so weak that I could not resist the temptation. That was not the way it was. He could have chosen not to eat the fruit that was forbidden, but he chose to eat. Even today, we could choose not to do many of those lamentable actions that we do, but we do them anyway. We do them knowing very well that we should have acted in the other way. As long as we know that, we are responsible for our actions. And we are responsible for the way we are. And if we suffer rightly because of our mistakes, not because of how God created us to be. It is not God who is culpable. We are.